I began dating the young man regular. And regular to me is seeing someone 2 to 3 times out of the week. And the young man name was Antonio. Now, Antonio had like a smooth swagger to him. He was very, very like masculine, and cool. Like at the same time, he was like so cool. And he was dark. Like when I say dark, like he wore clothes of a lot of black, like black shoes, black shirt, black pants. Like he's always in black, and he always had on black shades, and his hair was jet black, and I was just like, oh my God, like I immediately like this guy a lot. I knew in my heart that I finally met someone that I could connect on another level, like physical, mentally, everything, During the time of dating, I ended up going to court with the landlord at the house, and I was able to, I was behind, but I had at least 1 month's rent, so we worked it out in court where I would pay rent and I would have to pay a few $100s more until I got caught up, but I couldn't be late on the rent for 60 days. So I was happy about that, but at the same time still kind of scared. I was on eggshells with the landlord, getting the lights back on for the business. And during the time that we got the lights back on, we started doing some of Wayne's orders. Orders were building up, and he was doing pretty good with the satellite business. And he seemed to be coming to work every single day. Now that we were doing some of the orders for his business, he was coming to work every day. He was on time. He was looking over the orders. He was calling people, making sure they got their delivery. Like he was on it, I noticed like a change in him, So I was like, okay. So I try not to be negative about it, but I did still feel some kind of way about it. I just was like, okay, now, even though we're running like his business and our business together, as soon as my money come through, I'm breaking off from him. Like I'm done with him. Like he's going to be on his own, And we moved into the smaller business. It was too small. It was, oh my God, it was just like irritating because it was so freaking small. I was at work. The young man decided to come to my job and bring me flowers and bring me lunch and coffee. And I was really like surprised to see him, and I was kind of like on edge because when I saw him standing there, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even tell nobody I was dating, And he was just standing there smiling and everything, right? And it seemed like everybody was at work that day, So Joyce was like, well, who is he, And I was like, well, he's somebody that I just started dating. And she was like, oh my God, he's handsome, So then Lamar standing there, he got like a little mean look on his face and everything. And Wayne standing there, and Wayne go over there and talk to him and tell him, say, could I help you with something? He was like, well, I'm here to see spirit, And Wayne just kind of looked. He was like, what you here for a meeting or something? He was like, no, I'm here to pick her up and take her out for lunch, So I was just smiling. My cheeks was like this big. I couldn't even stop smiling. So Wayne was like, you think it's a good idea for you to be dating right now? I was like, okay, all the years you know me, I haven't even dated. Like, it's not even really none of your business. He was like, well, you're losing the house, we're moving. And I was like, well, Wayne, what, this ain't got nothing to do with you, And Wayne was kind of like on edge. Like, he looked like he started panting. Like, he was moving back and forth, and his throat was tightening up. And I was like, well, they better get over it, because basically I just felt like everybody was teaming up with each other and I was alone. So, and I had no one to talk to. So, dating for me was a good idea at the time. So I left the store that afternoon to go out to lunch with Antonio, and we talked. And I just, I really seemed to like him. I felt like he was like getting to know me. He was in my head. Like I could hear him, talking to me still when he wasn't around. I could still smell him. It was just like, oh my God, I was starting to get fascinated with the guy. Dating was definitely in process. Now, in the meantime, Joyce was still pretty much upset with Toya because I just basically kind of told her that Toya said she was coming back. I didn't want to really get into, Toya leaving. Joyce was like, when she came to me like more of concern. She was basically my children's aunt, so it was more like I felt like it felt familiar again, how she used to come to me about my ex-husband when we were divorcing. And it just seems like when there's a side to be played, she's not usually on my side. So when she came to me about Toya, she wanted some answers. So she was just like, so, you heard from Toya? I said, no, I haven't heard from Toya. I said, I think Toya's gone and she's going to be gone for a while. Well, you need to go get them grandkids. You need to go, them grandkids should be with you. I was like, yeah, but those are Toya children and she left and she's gone. And she's like, but I don't understand. I mean, why she leave? What happened? And Joyce wanted to know so badly what happened. And I didn't even want to tell Toy. I didn't want to tell Joyce. I'm going to tell you what, let's go back. When Toya first got to Virginia, again, Joyce invited us to church because her sister was evangelist and basically was always speaking on in the church. She invited us to church. So we went, okay? And we in there, Toya got the baby. She holding the baby. I got Yu sitting next to me. It was nice. We were all of us were there, She invited friends and family and stuff like that. And I was nervous. I really didn't want to go because being around Joyce means seeing my ex-husband's family. And during our divorce, I'm going to tell you, I don't care how nice you try to make things to break off easy. When it comes to a divorce, stuff get dirty. It get real bad. And my divorce was so bad, okay? And when I needed to avoid my ex-husband and his family, I did. I couldn't get away from Joyce because Joyce was more of a sister and like a best friend of me. If me and Joyce weren't like best friends, I would have avoided her too. But it was just like she was always seemed to show back up in my life, And we all sitting there and the preacher preaching and the music on and they start, when they start preaching, they start making you feel like the tears start dropping. You just start thinking about God and your life and everything. So, I'm sitting there, everybody's sitting there, and I see Toya there, and she holding the baby and she crying, she bawling, she really, really crying. And I'm like, oh my God, wow. Oh my God, Toya's having a breakthrough or something, right? So I goes over there and I hugs Toya and I said, Toya, oh my God. And I start praying with us. Everything gonna be okay. And she really, really crying. So Joyce gives Toya a hug, and then her sister's preaching. She comes over there to Toya and tells Toya to stand up so they can pray for her. So Toya stands up. She got the baby in her arm and everything, and they preaching over her, and they was like, just go ahead, honey, let it all out. So she starts saying, I was on the streets, I was on my own, and my family living a good life, and they never came to get me. Nobody cared about me, and I'm sitting up there like, I'm looking at Toya, and she's slobbing from the mouth and everything, and she crying, holding on to Joyce. Now, I decided that I would not tell nobody. Me and LaToya's little sister decided that nobody needed to know, our family thing that went on with Toya. So we didn't tell nobody. Me and my daughter looking at each other. And then we looking at Toya. It went from me feeling like, oh my God, Toya having a breakthrough, to, oh my God. Sign. That was the first sign that I should have known that Toya was going to be up to something. Okay? So then, here we go. And when your children start telling people that they have like issues with you and they hurt and they all to pieces over their life, people when they're connected to you, then they want to come to you about your life and your children, what you need to do, right? So when I got to work that Monday, here come Joyce. I went home, and Lord have mercy, I prayed for Toya so much. Oh my God. It was just so sad. She's been through so much. Oh my God, she's been out there so long on her own. I hope this time you kind of like, stick with her and stick by her side and don't leave her behind. First of all, I never leave Toya. So I look at Joyce, and I said, Joyce, okay. Toya said that she was homeless and she was on the streets. That was a lie. Toya ain't never been homeless, okay? Never, ever been homeless. 2, Toya left. And when she left, she didn't run away from someone hurting her being abused, her being neglected, none of that. Toya was grown. I went to New Jersey, and I went and visit family and friends, and we had so much fun. And when we had so much fun, we got back home, I felt like Toya, ever since then, Toya wanted to be in New Jersey. Somehow or another, her connecting to my family, I thought would be a good thing, but instead, she connected to them on a negative level where they helped her initially run away from home. And I'm going to tell you, one day I'm going to tell y'all that story, because when my sister came to New Jersey, she just had a whole lot to say about when Toya first got to New Jersey and how Toya came up there. But she wasn't on the street. She was with my family, 2015. Me and my sister had confrontation about that. My sister finally got out everything she wanted to say. I'm going to tell y'all, girl. I'm going to tell you. And we got into it about my daughter Toya, and I finally told her to. I did. And I'm going to tell you like this, my sister knew. My sister knew, no matter how much she apologized, no matter how much she said, I love you, we blood sisters. She knew once she got on that plane that if she saw me again, it'd be by mistake. When Toya got up there, how Toya began to stay with them because she had money. She was able to initially help them, And I should have pressed charges when Toya first ran away from home. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did go to the police. And I was hoping that, because they said that when I went to the bank the first time, yeah, I know y'all saying, wait a minute, Toya did this before. Yes, the second time was bad, but the first time was, and what, in this story, like telling this story, when I first told the story in part 6, it came to realization to me in the very beginning. Toya was the initiator of the bad things starting, and she was the ending when the ship just really went down. It was just like, whoa. That's what came to me. And I'm not going to tell y'all the story right now. I'm not even going to get into it. But one day I'm going to tell you guys what happened. It was nuts. We had a head start with her bad behavior. And my family basically helped her because she was able to help them. Okay, so I had to let Joyce know. I didn't want to tell her, but I had to tell her the beginning story, and I had to tell her what had taken place when Toya left to New Jersey, because in Joyce's mind, I just basically, somehow or another, because she didn't know the pieces, when she got back with me, I didn't have my oldest daughter with me, and I just didn't want to be bothered with a grown child, which I wasn't that type of person. I literally ran behind Toya for years, running back and forth to New Jersey and New York, trying to bring her back home to Virginia. And I am going to tell y'all, that's another story. When I finally said, okay, that's it. Can't make a horse drink water. That's it. Okay? It felt like me dating a young man was taking my mind away from trying to go get Toya back, trying to bring the kids back. And then I didn't want to tell Joy, I don't got time to run behind Toya no more. Like now, I got to try to save the house. I got to get this new tiny business going. I ain't got time to be worried about Toya. Toya done did what she did, and now she's gone. It's time to move on, basically. So Joyce kind of had like this attitude, like she just had like this bad attitude. And the reason why she had that attitude is because that's what happens when people, when they do you wrong, the people around you, they try to make you look bad to the people that's around you, and then they begin to make their own assessment and their own judgment of you. So now Joyce was giving me attitude, and then I kind of feel like she was giving me attitude too, because all these years of my divorce, I never dated nobody outside of her brother. So now I'm dating somebody who's not her brother. So now she just kind of like had this attitude all the time, like she was mad with me constantly, So now I got Wayne mad with me, Lamar mad with me, Joyce mad with me, because now I'm dating, okay? So as we began to move into the little store, I was able to get one of the vehicles from one of the young men, because the store that we moved to was further than the store that we was at, and he could no longer work for us. So it worked out for me that I could use that particular vehicle. So now I had a car. So at night when I got off of work and I got the kids settled in, I was gone. I was gone. Every chance I got to see Antonio, I saw him. And then it got to the point where he would ask me, could he come see me? And could we start doing things where we're more like a couple, like maybe we could eat dinner together, we could watch a movie with my kids, stuff like that. So we started going to the next level. So I really started, liking him. And we started talking about, what he does for a living, that he was working in a family business. And he was working towards having his own business one day. And one day he came to me and he said, you know what? I would like to see if maybe I can work for you and help you out, And I was like, no, that's okay. I don't want to mix pleasure with business. Like, don't ever, ever, ever mix pleasure with business. He kept bringing it up, and one day I told him, like, no, I really don't, think that's a good idea. I was working, running around with my head cut off like a chicken. I got a phone call, and it was him, and he told me that he had got into it with his family member, and they basically fired him, and he didn't have no job, and he would really like to come work for me, and we can discuss pay. He don't even really want a lot, and it'd be nice to be able to work with me and see me and stuff like that. So I told him I would think about it. So because I was dating him, I went and I talked to Wayne about it. Wayne said, yeah, well, we do need somebody to be working in deliveries, getting deliveries processed, as far as like a hands-on office person that deals with delivery, because deliveries had like a lot of drama to it, and it was good in our business to have like one person who really focused on that. And basically, I tried to get Lamar to do that, but Lamar didn't want to do that. He liked it being on the road because he got to take care of his business and do other stuff. And, like he picked up the flowers and he was gone. Like, he didn't want to be confined. So I was like, okay, yeah, so yeah, we'll do that. So now me and him was kind of working close knit because I worked in the designer department and he worked in the delivery process. So at lunchtime we sat together and we ate together. It was nice. Now, Joyce did not like him. As far as like, the closer I got to him, the more Joyce couldn't stand him. Like, she wouldn't speak to him. She would stare at him and she was like, you be careful with him. He's slick. I was like, Joyce, stop judging people. She said, I'm telling you, he real slick. Like, Joyce just did not like him. Day that I came to work, she would ask me, so how's things going? So how y'all doing? She would ask me about my personal life, like really, really being nosy, and I really didn't want to talk about it while I was at work. But having somebody work with you in the business, the drama. Okay. So one particular day, he called me, Antonio. He says, hey, I can't come to work. I said, well, what's wrong? He said, the car I was driving wasn't mine. It belonged to my mom. And I said, oh. He said, yeah, I no longer have access to the vehicle. And I was like, oh, well, how you going to get to work? He was like, well, I was wondering if maybe I could use your vehicle, like take you home and use your car at night and then bring it back in the morning. And I was thinking to myself, like, no, I don't think so. And he was like, well, I really, like working with you. I don't want to lose my job. And I was like, okay, let me figure out what I can do. So I called Wayne and I said, Wayne, you don't live too far from Antonio. Can you go get him in the mornings and bring him to work? Wayne was like, no, I'm not picking up nobody. I'm not obligating nobody. Only person that I would do that for is you, and that's it. And I was like, dang, okay. So then I asked Joyce, and Joyce was like, no, he ain't got no car. He shouldn't be working this far, so nobody would help him out. So I called Lamar, and I said, Lamar, don't you go past such and such? Can't you get Antonio in the mornings when you come? He was like, oh yeah, I don't have no problem with that. So Lamar and him shows up for work, and it's real quiet, and Lamar looking like he got an attitude. And then my friend kind of snapping at me, and I was like, you okay? He was like, oh, you couldn't come get me? And I was like, no. I have to be here early in the morning. I got children, and you working for me and not being able to get to work was not part of the deal. He was like, but we supposed to care about each other. You go out your way when somebody needs you. I said, yeah, that's true. Then I felt bad, but I was like, Dad, this is like another damn job. Now he ain't got no car. I gotta be going to pick him up. That ain't gonna work, So I talked to him and I told him, listen, if you're not gonna be able to get to work, you probably shouldn't work for me, and but we could still date and everything like that. And he was like, no, everything will be fine, I just have to deal with, Lamar picking me up from work. Picking me up for work. And I was like, but what's the problem with Lamar picking you up? I mean, at least you got a ride to work. And then I gave him a ride home. And most of the time, he would come home with me, eat dinner with me, watch a movie with me, hang out with me, and then I would take him home. Sometimes it'd be 1 o'clock in the morning, but I would take him home, And he was like, man, like, I don't like riding with Lamar. It was like about 2 weeks later, and he was just like, I don't really like riding with Lamar. And I was like, why? He was like, he gay. He's gay. I was like, what? He's like, I'm straight, I don't really want to be hanging around like a gay dude. Like, all my friends are straight, And I was like, no, Lamar's not gay. And even if he is, he's just giving you a ride to work. So what? And he was like, he's gay. And I was like, okay, did something happen? And he was like, no, I had to talk to him, but, I let him know that I know he ain't straight. And I was like, you did what? I said, you don't have no right to do that. I just don't like it. You're not gonna help me out. I'm gonna just have to find me another job. Now, in the 2 weeks that he was working, in that time frame, he was doing really, really good, with the job. And then Wayne came to me and was like, listen, Antonio is threatening to quit. And right now, we need him. And the reason why Wayne felt that way is because we were also working for Wayne too, So Wayne wanted to make sure that his orders were confirmed and delivered and everything was okay. And so I said, okay, Wayne, I will make sure I get Antonio and make sure he gets home. And he was like, okay with that, right? So I went to Lamar and I told Lamar, I said, Lamar, you don't have to pick up you don't have to pick up Antonius on the morning no more. And he's like, okay, well, I'm cool with that, And so, everything seemed to be going good, but I was like, it was sometimes that I just, like, he would irritate me. He would say, how long do you think you're going to be working tonight? I really need to get home. My mother need me to do something for me. Can I just use the car and Wayne take you home and I'll bring you back in the morning? This is what he would do. So one particular day, I end up giving into that because we got so busy and I got so overwhelmed, and the thought of taking him home was too much for me. I just wanted to go home and sleep, One morning I got to work and Lamar said to me, he says, hey, can I see you tonight? And I said, no, Lamar, I'm dating. He was like, well, we friends, I want to talk to you. And I was like, talk to me about what? He was like, I know people talking about me around here. And what happened was, because Antonio told me, he must have mentioned it to other people, and people started kind of talking about Lamar, and it was getting to him, So I decided to meet up with him, and we met up at the shop later on so we can talk. And Lamar told me, he said, Dad, I have something I need to tell you. And I said, okay, what is it? He was really adamant that we talk. So, yeah, I definitely made sure that I met up with him and we talked. And he says, I have something that I need to tell you. And I said, okay. He said, remember when, because a long while back, I took a trip to New Jersey to visit my mom. And Lamar asked me, could he go to New Jersey with me because he had family members who lived in New Jersey close to my family, and that he wanted me to drop him off, but he will catch a bus back to Virginia. He won't be riding back with me. And I was like, okay. He's like, well, remember when we took that trip and you was like, Lamar, I think that's your cousin on the porch waiting for you, and you got out the car. And because I had got out the car because I was prepared to say hello to his family because, you know, I don't know, I'm just naturally like that, you know. And he was like, no, you don't, you know, get back in the car. It's no need to talk to nobody or anything like that. And I was like, well, where the rest of your family? There's only one person on the porch. He was like, oh, that's my cousin. But you know, I remember seeing this guy, and this guy did have a persona of a feminine type man, you know, very, very feminine. And but I just didn't really think nothing of it if they said it was his family. So I was like, okay, well, Lamar, be safe, and I'll see you back in Virginia. And I said, yeah, I remember that. He says, well, that wasn't my family. And I was like, okay. And he started crying. And I said, well, Lamar, what's wrong? What's wrong? He was like, Antonio telling everybody around the shop that I'm gay and everybody talking about me. And I was like, well, it don't really matter what somebody say about me. People gonna say stuff about you. And, you know, even like myself, I drove tractor trailers for years. And the first person who tried to put out there that I was gay was my mother. She started telling my sisters and family that I want to be a man. That's why I'm driving trucks. I'm gay. And I told him, I said, listen, people gonna talk about you no matter what. And like, you shouldn't be this distraught, Lamar, just because somebody's saying that you're gay. So what? And I was like, you know, it don't really matter if you gay or not. I still love you. You're still my friend. And he was like, well, I said, what is it, Lamar? He says, well, the reason why I never really pursued hard enough for me and you to really go to the next level is because I'm gay. And I just like, really? And he was like, yeah. And he started crying. And and then it all started to come together, you know? And I was just like, dang, I didn't even know, Lamar. I didn't even guess it. He says, don't nobody know. I think my mom and my dad know. My dad calls me names, and I think my mom knew I was gay for years. He just never really, you know, came out and talked to me about it. And, you know, and I said, okay, but wow, but why are you so distraught? Like, you know, he says, because he wasn't really ready for people to know that he was really gay. And he was saying the reason why I couldn't hang out with him at the nightclubs or come hang out with him at night, because it was basically a like gay type place. And he wasn't ready for me to know that he was gay. And he said to me that, I said, well, Lamar, like, how long did you know you was gay? You know? And he says, well, I went to prison. I was shocked. Like, this boy, hands were pretty. His hands were pretty. He had no calluses. He didn't have dirty fingernails. Like, it was just nothing about him that said prison. Nothing, you know. And I was like, what? I said, Lamar, what did you go to prison for? He said that he sold drugs and he got caught and he ended up doing 10 years. I was so shocked. And he started crying. Like, he was so devastated. It's like everything just started spilling out. So I started holding him. And then he fell like to the floor. So then I was on the floor with him and I was just holding on to him, and he cried. Like, he was devastated. And he told me that while he was in prison, he ended up basically getting raped. And by the time he got out of prison, he basically lived the gay lifestyle. Because once he got raped and been in prison so long, he met, someone, and he was gay. And I stayed, I think, in the shop with him for I was like 4 o'clock in the morning by the time I left the shop. He fell asleep just laying there on the floor with me holding him. And I was just thinking about everything. And I was just thinking like, everybody has a story. You just don't know. You don't know what another person has been through or gone through. And, he finally had his breakthrough, and I happened to be there for him during his breakthrough. So now I became a little biased with Antonio. I was just a little upset because I felt like even if he knew that Lamar was gay, he didn't have that right to have people talking about him, keep on saying it, saying things to him to make him feel less than a man. Because in my opinion, Lamar didn't act gay to me. He just was, a very neat, nice looking, handsome young man. He was just, when I start to think about it, like I said, the pieces start to fit together. It's just that my mind didn't go there to think, oh, he's gay. It just didn't go there, And so now, and then I realized that because Lamar was like, this was devastating. And I think what Antonio did caused Lamar to have to face his demons and face his memories and face, I don't even know if that was it, or it just got to the point where, okay, Lamar decided that he would tell me, and maybe I would be the first step of him not living a lie, I guess, because I'm sure it's hard to live a lie, to try to be something that you're not, and yeah, so after that happened and everything, I talked to Antonio the next day and told him that if I even see him kind of give Lamar attitude, be disrespectful towards him, or talk about him, he was fired. Basically, that was it. And I started kind of losing, not interest altogether, but just kind of, I'm going to say, just lost a little respect for him, because I felt like, yeah, he knew that Lamar was gay, and I didn't think that Lamar was gay. I didn't believe it. But, it just felt like it wasn't his place to let the world know about somebody's sexual orientation. I just lost a little bit of respect for him. And then our relationship started basically changing. And me and Lamar, I felt like we bonded and that we got closer because of it. Well, my son is home, so you guys, I'm gonna probably have to end the story time. Let me tell you the last part before I end the story time, because yeah, my son's home. He's gonna be ready to go to bed, and he's gonna be like, okay, Mom, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. Okay. After this incident happened, had this thing on my mind. It was bothering me with Antonio. How did he know that Lamar was gay? He was so adamant about it, and he had so much hate towards him, like he just didn't like him at all. And why was it so important that he kept talking about it, you know? So that kind of stayed on my mind. And I had said that, you know, one of these days I'm gonna go to Lamar and just ask him what happened between him and Antonio, to the point where Antonio basically just did not like him, basically hated him. And but I just didn't know when to go to him and talk to him about it. But now, after some time has passed, Antonio basically had my car, you know, all the time. He had the business cell phone, and, you know, we started to see each other less and less. Now you see that, like, the microwave is going, everything's going, so I'm going to have to end it. I know y'all saying, no, don't end this spirit, but I'm going to have to end it. Let me tell you guys, he, you know, when I call him and tell him I need my car, he normally bring it to me. Well, one particular day, we were supposed to go out around 9 o'clock at night. He didn't show up. I kept calling him. He wouldn't answer the phone. The next day, he shows up for work, and I says to him, hey, why didn't you show up? Oh, man, I was tired. Oh, man, I forgot, you know. He said, I'm so sorry. So I was like, oh, okay. So I try not to be so upset and everything. And then it got to the point where I would call him and say, hey, am I going to see you tonight? He would be making excuses. But this fool got my car. He got my car. He got my business cell phone. Like, he working for me. And when I call him, he basically not giving me no time and no attention. So now I'm kind of like, okay. And I'm a female, you know, so I was just saying to myself, okay, if you ain't going to pick up my phone call, you're not going to come see me, it's time to start cutting some ties. So I told him, I said, well, listen, hey, tomorrow Wayne's going to pick you up. He's going to make sure you get home. Now my camera done died, so you know that it's definitely over. But I just want to leave you with this. I'll leave you with this last part. He was not happy that basically I was not going to be letting him use my car anymore. And I also told him that he was going to have to leave the business phone at the shop for now on. The cell phone, he wasn't going to have it with him. And it probably came from the fact that we were personal plus working together. So I kind of like stepped a little bit over the business part of me, kind of went out the window. Now I'm emotional and I'm upset with him because he's not making time for me, but he's working for me. He got my car, he got my cell phone and stuff like that, you know. So then he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, I got a lot to tell you. Give me another chance. Let me use the car. Don't take the phone. And I promise you, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to answer your phone calls and things of that nature. You know, I believed him. And one particular night, it was about, I say 10 o'clock at night, I was calling him. He said, oh, I'm on my way. 11 o'clock came. I'm on my way. And then 12 o'clock, he's like, listen, I'm going to have to come by there and I got to talk to you. It's about something really, really important. And I'm on my way. So I waited. He didn't get to my house till like 2 o'clock in the morning, okay? And when he got to my house, he was like, I need to get paid early, about 3 days off of work, and I'm gonna call you, but something is going on. I said, well, what's going on? What happened? He said, it's my mom. She's in the hospital. I said, what? What happened? He said, well, she got cancer and they think she's gonna die. And I was just like, dang, oh my God. And I felt so bad. And I was like, yeah, we'll take the car and the phone and I'll just see you in 3 days. He was like, yeah, I'll be back in 3 days. And I was like, I felt so bad that I gave him so much grief, you know, and that I wasn't like, I felt like I wasn't like, what's the word? I wasn't supportive. I felt like I wasn't being supportive. Instead, I felt like a spoiled girlfriend who wanted all this attention. Here it is, this man losing his mother. So, you know, the next day I was telling everybody what happened about his mother being in the hospital, his mother dying, and then Joyce did a long prayer. We all hold hands for him and everything. And Wayne said, hey, get an order ready and I'll get it delivered to the hospital. I said, okay, this man has so much on my mind. So when the flowers were ready, Wayne delivered them and everything, I got a phone call. And Wayne was like, hey, you got the wrong hospital. This is not the hospital. I said, oh, dang. You know how when somebody tell you something, you feel like it go out of one ear to the next and you kind of make a little mistake, the wrong hospital. So I told Wayne to go to another hospital. And Wayne he said, no, they never even heard of that name. There's nobody by that name in this hospital. He says, listen, I got something to do. So, you know, I'll bring the flowers back in the morning. New arrangement. And I said, well, let me go find the hospital because I really wanted him to know. Like he said, his mother was dying and I didn't want his mother to die before I can get the flowers to the hospital, to basically let him know that I was there for him and I was supporting him. So when I got off of work, I called Lamar to come back to the shop to get me. And me and Lamar and my daughter went to 2 more different hospitals looking for his mother. We're in the car. Lamar said, you sure? He said, his mother in the hospital? I said, yeah, she's on, what they call that? A business? What they call it when somebody's... Anyway, what's that word? It's a word that they call that they say for people that's dying, you know, when it's like their last days. But I can't remember it right now. No, not life support. You know when they still alive, but they getting like all the care they need before they die. I see. Anyway, I can't remember, but you almost done? Yeah, I'm almost done. So, when I find out the word, I'll put it in. If I find out, I'll put it in going across the screen for you guys. So I was like, no, I don't know why I can't find a hospital. Why would he tell me something like that if it's not true, you know? And I said, you know what? Forget this. I need you to come pick me up early in the morning. He was like, for what? I was like, I don't want Wayne to come pick me up. I need you to come pick me up and bring me back up this way. I'm going to stop by his house and find out what hospital his mother in. That morning, Lamar picked me up. It was me and my daughter and Lamar. Lamar stayed in the car. Me and my daughter goes to the door with this big bouquet of beautiful flowers. And we heard people, you know, in the house. And when the door opened, it was a young girl holding a baby. And I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you guys for joining me for story time. And I will see you on part 8. And I will let you know then what happened. And until then, enjoy your day, your night, your afternoon. Love and light always. See you in the next story time. Until then, enjoy your day,